Hello, everybody. What is up? What is up? What is up? Thank you for joining me again for my second installment of Triple TV podcast. Um, this is my second one, and I'm excited about it. Uh, just a little reminder here on Mondays, I am having my soapbox, my Triple TV soapbox, talking about small town kind of things. The last soapbox I talked about uh, how small towns are kind of dying out and how we need to support local businesses for, just about anything really. The big box stores are taking over, and I'm getting to where I don't even want to go into a big box store anymore. I would rather get it done uh, in a small town, where I live, support local businesses. Something as simple as getting hats and T-shirts made. I'd rather go to a local business like Spring River Tees in Ashflat, Arkansas, and give them my business rather than go through online. I would rather go to one of my best buddies over there at Car Doctor 2 to get oil changes and tires and stuff like that rather than go to Walmart or something like that or a business like that, big box business to get tires and have my mechanic work done, and then stuff like Judd's Taxidermy. I mean, he's another one of my really good buddies. Known him for many years, and I'm just he's doing one of my deer heads right now as we speak. So I would rather just shop local, do local, and that's it. So let's go ahead and jump into this week's episode. Also wanted to, I guess I should finish it out. Um, Mondays are the Triple TV soapbox, or excuse me, the Triple T soapbox. Wednesdays are the Triple T podcast, and Fridays are the Triple TV vlogs. And once hunting season gets here, Mondays and Fridays I'll be running vlogs, and then Wednesdays I will be alternating between podcasts and the soapbox. So without further ado, let's dive on into this one. So this story here takes place 3 weeks after I harvested my first buck. And I tell you what, I was already on a high because 3 weeks prior, I had harvested my first antlered deer. I was already on a high. And even though it was just a small basket rack buck, you would think that I killed the new world record whitetail. So I'm already on this high, and I had acquired 15 acres of property to hunt in northern Fulton County. As a matter of fact, it was on the Arkansas-Missouri border. And I had sit there a few times, and it wasn't really known for holding a lot of deer, but I knew there was deer there. All the deer sign stories I was told, I knew there were deer there. I mean, the Missouri border is just right across the road. And I just I kept being persistent. I kept going back, kept going back, kept going back. And I was seeing a group of does about every time that I went, but they was on the neighboring property, and they would just never break that plane. So I'm sitting there thinking, what do I have to do to get these does to break the plane of that property line, to cross the fence? They would come right up to the fence, and then they would start snorting. Some people call it snorting, some people call it blowing. They were smelling. So I'm sitting there trying to figure out, what do I got to do to get these deer in? I had nothing on the ground. I had no mineral lick. I had no corn. Once again, in the state of Arkansas, you are allowed to bait deer. Now there are regulations and rules with the CWD being here now. But oddly enough, praise the Lord, it's not in Fulton County. So I had nothing on the ground, though. I'm just not there enough. I don't make the trips that I need to make to kind of manage it a little bit. I'm not really there enough to to be able to have something like that. So I just have to go and hunt, rely on the experience that I had. I'd been actually hunting, carrying a gun since I was 12 years old. I'm 25 at this time. So I'm just relying on the 15 years of experience or 12 years or whatever it is. I'm not really good at math in my head. So I'm just relying on the experience that I have. And I'm still new into bow hunting. This is my second year of bow hunting, and all the tips and tricks that I learned from people over the past 2 seasons, I was throwing that in there on these hunts. So here I am. Well, if the deer ain't going to come to you, you need to go to them. That was my mindset. So after several times of seeing those does just lock up at that fence line and turn around and just blowing their snot, going over the hill, I'm like, okay, something's got to change. Something is not right. So I left the stand that I was sitting in down in the ravine, and I moved up on top of the hill where there was another stand. And I'm going to illustrate the stand for you. It was a tree that grew out to 3 different trunks. So there was a platform right in the middle, and then there was boards all the way around it with the camo mesh. So I took my bow hanger and I screwed it into the tree that morning. And I remember this morning, it was extremely cold. I'm talking frost on the ground. It was probably the first cold snap that we got that year. And I went up and said, it's that time of year where it's like 30 something degrees in the morning and it's 80, 85 in the afternoon. I remember field dressing this deer and skinning it and just sweat rolling off of me. It's that time of year. So anyway, I sit in this stand on top of the hill. I said, I'm going to, and I get there before daylight. I said, I'm going to get a deer today. I am going to get one. Just got done drinking a coffee and eating a donut and hitting the stand. And while I'm sitting in the stand, the sun's coming up. It's still dark down in the ravine. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, these does should be here by now. What is keeping them? And I happened to look down in the ravine and I'd seen something walking. So naturally, I lifted up my binoculars and got to looking through them, and I seen it was a deer. So, okay, now I might have a legitimate shot at harvesting this thing. And I sit there and I watched him, and he started walking in. At the time, I didn't know it was him. And I drew my bow. Whenever I found out it was a buck and found out it was a legal buck, I drew my bow. And the dadgum thing walked right next to that tree that I had been sitting in for, days. And I said, you have got to, I just remember thinking that you have got to be kidding me. That son of a gun walked right by that tree that I've been sitting in. So instead of stopping him, I just kind of followed him with my bow and my sights, and I shot. And whenever I did, he kind of took off a little bit. I'm like, crap, missed him. So I'm scrambling around trying to find another arrow. And as I'm knocking the other arrow, he's going out to the trailhead, and he can either go right, go up to the Missouri line, cross, be safe, or he can come left, and that's where he would make a mistake if he did that. Well, the good Lord and willing, the daggum thing turned left. Like he could have been home free. But he turned left. He started walking up the hill, and then I guess he seen me. I'm trying to figure out what I was, but the sun was kind of blocking his vision a little bit because he was looking right into the sun, which was the direction I was. I was facing east. And my legs are facing, in front of me, and I draw my bow back, and I twist my torso all the way around. I don't know how I did it, drawn back. And there was a hole about the size of a coffee can that, I mean, I seen his shoulder and just a little bit behind it. I said, that right there is going to be the shot. That's the shot right there. And I took it. And whenever I took that shot, he took off running. He did the mule kick, took off running, and I gave him just a few minutes before I climbed down. And the first place I went was to where I had missed him, and walked up to the tree. And I guess it was one of those deals. I left my mark on that tree. I've sit in that daggum tree, so many times with no avail, and I shot it. I killed the tree. I didn't really kill the tree, but I shot the tree. The broadhead was embedded, so far that I just had to unscrew the arrow, and as far as I know, the broadhead's still embedded in that tree, and maybe 60, 70 years from now, somebody's going to cut that tree down and hit it with the chainsaw. They're like, well, daggum, how long's that been here, But anyway, so I get on the blood trail, and I thought it was a pretty good hit. I mean, he was bleeding out both sides. Found the arrow, covered in blood, and I'm trailing him. And I get to this fence that was laying on the ground, something that you didn't really even have to step over. And I was starting to get aggravated because I was seeing blood but no deer. And he didn't even lay down anywhere. So I'm like, well, did I get a good hit or what? But as soon as I found that fence laying down, that's whenever I realized, okay, well, he should have been able to get over that easily, but he didn't. And there was hair and blood all over that fence. So I'm like, he's going to be down. That kept me going instead of going back and see if I could find somebody with a dog. That kept me going, and I just kept walking. And he started going up a hill. And as soon as he started going up that hill, that's whenever I started getting nervous. I'm like, all right, well, this deer is I don't know. I mean, he's going uphill now. I don't know what to do. And he didn't even make it halfway up that hill, and I look over, and he's laying there on the side of the hill, just right there. He is. And I'm like, I cannot believe at this time, I cannot believe I just killed a good buck. And for a hill deer, he wasn't a bad little deer. But I just could not believe that I harvested this daggum animal. I was so excited. I was so, happy about this. I'm like, 2 bucks in a season. I've never done this. It took me how many years to harvest my first buck. And not only did I harvest my first buck this year, I harvested 2 bucks this year. And at the time, one of them being my best, buck, which of course the first one is my best buck until the second one. But he was a real nice 7 point, beautiful animal, beautiful deer. And I was just, so excited that I finally, I felt more like a hunter now because I'd gone so many years with harvesting does and so many years, like I think it was like a 6-year span there where I wasn't harvesting anything. And then to come in my first year, my first season, and then harvesting the deer then, and then the next year harvesting 2 bucks, I was just excited. Well, that's pretty much where my 2011 season ended. I was tagged out on bucks. In the state of Arkansas, you're allowed to harvest 2 bucks. And this year, they're going to allow you 2 bucks and 3 does. But I was real excited, that I harvested my 2 bucks. I went every once in a while after that, trying to get a doe. And I'd see deer here and there, but didn't get to harvest any. And, that's just a part of hunting. But, it is what it is. But the 2012 season wasn't as good to me, but it was still a good season. And that's where we're going to dive into on next week's episode is the 2012 season. Once again, I want to remind you all to not to forget to subscribe to my channel, Triple TV, for outdoor vlogs and podcasts and soapboxes. Hit that like button if you like what I'm doing, and that just, you know, lets me know that I'm doing it right. And appreciate y'all watching and listening, watching. I appreciate you all for watching and listening to my podcast and watching my vlogs and soapboxes. Uh, and then share it. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. That's in the outdoor industry, and maybe some of my bad luck stories and stuff like that. Even vlogs, will help them, want to get out and hunt. And if you're having a difficult season, just remember they always turn around eventually. Um, let's see. And I'm just trying to spread some positivity around this negative world, and also, don't forget to check out Spring River Tees. That's where I got my hats done. That's where I'll be getting my t-shirts done, hoodies, long sleeve tees. If you guys are interested in ordering one of my hats, please let me know. Send me a message via Instagram at Triple TV 86 or on my Facebook page at Triple TV. And if you guys are interested in one, I can get some made for you. Uh, Spring River Tees is on Facebook. Go over there and like their page. Tell them that Travis with Triple TV sent you. They're out of Ashflat, Arkansas. If you want something done, T-shirts or whatever, they do custom embroidery and screen printing and stuff like that. Like I said, they do phenomenal work. You can reach them at 870-994-3262. Don't forget about Judd's Taxidermy out of Mountain Home. Jeremiah is a longtime friend of mine. I have known him over half of my life. He's one of the best guys that I know, and one of the few best guys I know. But he's a really good guy. He does phenomenal work. Like I said, I have a deer head with him right now, and I know that deer's in good hands. And I know whenever I get him back, he's going to look just like he did whenever I shot him. And then don't forget about another one of the best guys that I know, Corey with Car Doctor 2. You can reach him in Thayer, Missouri at 417-595-7906. He does tires and oil changes, and he's one of the best mechanic, probably the best mechanic that I know. And I tell you what, he won't steer you wrong. He'll do you a great job. And I'm not just saying that because he's one of my best friends, but I'm saying that because he does great work. So until next time, y'all don't forget to get out in the outdoors, do some hunting, do some fishing. And this weekend, dove season starts. Taking the cameras out there and going to do some dove hunting. So I'll see you all on the next one.